What's going on, everybody? It's EricRayweather back here, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to shut down the run in Madden 19. I'm going to teach you how to play shutdown run defense on some of the better running plays in the game. If this is your first time checking out one of my videos and you want to stay up to date on the best Madden 19 tips and gameplay all year long, consider hitting the subscribe button below and hitting the bell icon so that you join the notification squad. So what we're going to look at today is oldie but a goodie when it comes to run defense in Madden. And I know a lot of people are probably saying, well, it's not even that hard to run, or it's not even it's hard to run the ball this year in Madden, so the run isn't as much of a problem as it has been in years past. But believe me, there are still some good run plays in the game, and there are some good people online that are good at running the ball. So I'm going to give you a defense that's going to do a really good job at containing that, and it's, like I said, an oldie but a goodie. It's the 3-4 odd cover 4 drop show 2. Now, some of you might be saying, well, I'm more of a 4-3 playbook type of a guy. Well, that's why I recommend using the Lions playbook, because it's the best defensive playbook in the game. You get the best of both worlds. You get 3-4 odd, you get some other 3-4 formations, but you also get 4-3. You also get nickel, big nickel, you get dime, and you get dollar, which are both 4-3 based playbook formations. Those usually aren't in playbooks that have 3-4, so that's why I recommend using the Lions playbook, because you still get the 3-4 odd, which is a very important formation in Madden, both versus the pass and the run, but you also get a ton of other stuff that's typically not in 3-4 playbooks. So 3-4 odd cover 4 drop show 2, and we're gonna look at it against what is probably the best running play in the game. It's one of the best running plays in the game. The I-form close halfback sweep for sure is definitely a top 5 running play in the game this year. So to set this up, what we want to do is we want the first base align, which is wire triangle right on the left stick. Then we want to show blitz, which is wire triangle and left on the left stick, and you see that brings the safeties down. And then what we want to do is we want to take the safeties and we want to line them up over the outside linebackers. So you see right here, Jones is the outside linebacker. We want to pull this safety in just a little bit, and then you just hit B or circle. It brings you to your other safety, and then you do the same thing. You just line him up right over this linebacker here. And then what I like to do is crash the defensive line out, just because it's a little bit better than having contains in terms of going against the run. So I press LB or L1 and then up on the right stick. And then I will usually use just one of these linebackers here. So what you typically want to do is use the weak side linebacker. Now, how do you determine what's on the weak side? Well, typically whichever side the tight end is on is going to be the strong side. So we see on the right side of the field we have a tight end, we have a wide receiver, whereas on the left side of the field all we have is the one wide receiver. So the right side is the strong side, which means more than likely the run's either going up the middle or to the right. It's very rare that a run goes to the weak side. Usually runs like counters would go to the weak side, but counters typically aren't even that good anyway. And one last thing I'll do, which is optional, and this is just because I prefer having hard flats instead of cloud flats, I'll shade my defense down, which is wire triangle and then down on the right stick. You don't have to do that, but that's more so if they try to, because when people are under center and they try to pass, sometimes they like to throw quick flats, so this helps take that away. And what's so good about this is it does a very good job at containing the run, but you also have 8 guys in coverage, so if they are passing or running a play action, you have more than an adequate amount of guys in coverage to help defend the pass too. And the reason cover 4s are so good at stopping the run is because these safeties here, Quinn and Diggs, they are in run fits, which means they are not going to immediately backpedal. They're going to stay flat-footed. They're going to read the play. If it's a run, they're going to immediately attack down. If it's a pass, then they'll start backpedaling, but they don't take themselves out of the play initially. And so I'm gonna actually not use her here. I'm just gonna go to the D tackle and try to run with the offense. But keep in mind the defense is better. What I would do normally is use this guy, and if I see a toss or a stretch or something going to the outside, I would run over this way and help try to contain. If it's a dive, I would run down the middle and try to stuff a gap or shoot a gap. But since I'm only one person, I'm gonna use the offensive control here and try to get to the outside. And you see that there's always gonna be one guy there to make the tackle. Now, you're going to want to click on and make that tackle when the time comes, because you don't want to, run the risk of getting spun or juked out. But as you can see, if we try to get to the outside, there's always going to be multiple guys there, and there's no cutback lane. Now, like I said, you're going to want to click onto that cornerback and try to, wrap up and make a tackle, because you don't want to let the CPU do it, because an advanced player could try to spin or juke. But you see, we're trying to get to the outside here. This cornerback's there. We have the safety he picks up the he forces Smith-Schuster 19 to go attack him because he's shooting immediately down. We have the other linebacker coming across. Now notice the weak side linebacker who I talked about. Normally I would be using this guy here. So watch what he does, how he just kind of shoots right here. I wouldn't do that with him. I would be going completely to the outside. So normally it would be this cornerback here, Slay. We have this linebacker right here, number 40, and then I would be like right where he is. So there would be nowhere for Bell to go. No matter what, like he can't break it to the outside, but he can't cut back either because we got guys trailing behind him. Normally I would be using that guy to shut that down, but as you can see, just absolutely, nowhere for them to go. We'll try it again. You see, I mean, there's like either that, I mean, we can try to slow up and let that blocker get out in front of us, but if we do that, that's gonna, leave us open to, the trailing guys coming behind. So here I'm gonna try to use her and try to get out here as well. And so you see what I'm saying? I have an extra guy out there that's completely shutting that down. Now, what about a dive? Now, there's no dive in this formation in this playbook, so I'm gonna have to go switch up and go to like a strong close here to show you. And we're going to run it the same way. It's universal no matter what. If someone's coming out under center, this is typically the play that I run because it's just a really balanced play that can defend the run and the pass. Again, base the line, show blitz, click onto these guys quickly, kind of leave them back there and just line them up, crash the line out, and then shade underneath, which is optional. And, same thing. I'm going to use this guy, and, I'm going to try to shoot down into the gap here. And you can see there's just nowhere for him to go. Now, that time the computer's running the ball. It's hard to use two controllers, so there I was on defense. The computer's a little bit more sporadic. You see here, I was able to shoot down into this gap here on the left with this guy right here, number 59. So we can't go to that gap. So he's going to try to, the computer's trying to cut it to the right here, but we have containment on the edge here. There's just nowhere for him to go. And again, a big reason for this is because of the safeties in the run fits that we have right here. They are going to stay flat-footed and then shoot down. We're bringing them into the box. So if we were leaving these safeties like way back here, they wouldn't be as effective because they're further away from the box. But by showing blitz and then lining them up, we bring them down into the box, and we make this a lot harder for our opponent to run the ball because we're here, we're in the gaps, and we're trying to fill this up here. And there's just no like clear hole for him to run through there. He got about 3.5 yards, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but we're just trying to limit big runs here. You see here, I shot down in the gap. I got picked up there because I'm trying to use both controllers. So he did kind of have a bit of a hole to the left, but as you saw, the linebacker here is block shedding. So even if Bell were to come to that left, this guy would have been there waiting. And there's no clear hole for him to run through. And that's why this is one of the best run defenses in the game and has been for years. Very easy to set up, as you can see. Like, I'm already ready to go just like that. It's not hard to set up at all. And I'm just trying to get down here into this gap. You see how he tried to peel it back that way, and the guy was there in the gap to meet him. We'll go to the replay one more time to show that, but it's just you're not going to have huge holes against this type of defense. So you see here, he tries to shoot it back into the gap here, but this linebacker was right here waiting for him. He did break the tackle, but then we wound up chasing him down and getting an even bigger loss in the backfield. So that's why this is so good. Now again, if they were to try to pass the ball, well, we're in really good position if they try to pass the ball because we have 8 guys in coverage, and maybe they complete a pass. I'm not saying it's foolproof to the point where like a pass can't get completed on you, but I mean, there's a lot of coverage here on the field. We can't throw any quick flats. We can try to fit this corner in. We recognize it too late and we don't hit it. But if we go to the replay, you see a lot of times when people pass out of these running sets, they want to hit a quick flat or a quick drag. They're just looking for the quick pass because they're expecting you to sell out versus the run. Well, you see here, the quick flat over here to the fullback, because we're shaded down, that's locked up. You see this drag here, again, we're shaded down. That drag is locked up. The defender's right on top of him. The defender's right on top of that drag. And then all we can do is try to fit this corner route in. But the thing is, most corner routes, they run at this weird angle now where, old school corner route would have gotten better underneath this cornerback. But this corner route's kind of running right into that cornerback. So even if we were to throw it right here, Darius Slay, being a good cornerback, would jump down and, he probably wouldn't pick it off, but he would have been able to get a hand on the ball. But again, when you're under center and you're just trying to get a quick pass off, most people don't want to hold the ball long under center, so they're just looking for the first quick reads, and then they kind of start to panic when it's not open. And then also, you're using a guy as well. So if I'm sitting here using and I notice this, well, I'm going to go try to defend that corner myself because I know when someone tries to pass under center, You know, there's not many routes that people are trying to go to. They're trying to either throw a quick flat, a quick drag, or a corner route off of a PA. That's 99% of the time what people do when they pass under center. So this is just the best under center defense in the game for me. It's balanced. It's not going to bring crazy pressure, but it's going to limit people that want to run and want to, you know, do quick dump offs and play action passes. So that's one reason why I recommend using the Lions playbook, because you can have access to this play, but as well as a ton of other formations in the game that are really popular. So that's the best way to go about it if you're having trouble stopping the run. So that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this and found it helpful. If you did, as always, just drop a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.